Hey guys, today's Labor Day and I'm in the kitchen already. It's 9 a.m. I'm gonna be making some fresh milled cornmeal and make grits with it. And then on a separate pan, saute some onions and peppers and crisp up some potatoes, and then fried egg and cheese to top it all off. And I'm so excited. I'm really craving this hearty, delicious homemade breakfast this morning for a special day. Later, I'll be making smash burgers. I'm making some sourdough burger buns to go with that. And then smash burgers are so filling. I'm just gonna have salad on the side. There's a bunch of lettuce growing in the garden. I'm so excited. My fall garden is already giving us some food. So we'll have probably a basic salad. I was thinking of cutting up some apple and caramelizing some pecans, and then blue cheese and some balsamic honey, you know, that dressing I always make, equal parts olive oil, balsamic, and honey. So that would be like a nutty, fruity, sweet salad with the blue cheese to give it that nice sharp bite, but I'm not sure yet. And then I'm gonna defrost some of the peaches that I froze from that big bulk order of peaches and make a peach pie later, but I'm gonna start prepping now. And I'm also gonna make some ice cream to put in the freezer so that it gets hard. So when we serve the peach pie later, we have more firm vanilla ice cream to go with it. So I'm excited about food today. I'm home, my family's home. It's beautiful out. I just wanna cook delicious food to enjoy together, and I wanna make as much of it as possible now in the earlier part of the day so that the rest of the day I'm free to just enjoy and go with the flow. Totally going on a walk after we talk here, but just wanted to sit and finish my tea and share some thoughts with you guys. I've noticed that my day in the life videos and videos that I share food and things like that with you guys don't get nearly as many views as my sit down and chat videos. And I do find it interesting because I'm not really one to keep up with all that stuff at all, but I can't help but notice when I click on the YouTube studio app that my views for videos that I'm sitting and talking and sharing my thoughts are so much more popular and more viewed. And so it is kind of hard because the last several years, I feel like my videos have been significantly less that kind of video, and for various reasons. One of the practical reasons is it's easier to film little snippets of my day and life and then edit it together and put it to music and share little pieces of the things I enjoy with you. But for personal reasons, it's just been hard to sit down and share my thoughts and my heart confidently. And I go back and forth with that. Sometimes I feel very unapologetic and I'm just like, this is the way it is, whatever, deal with it. And sometimes I feel really just wanting to avoid judgment, not from strangers, okay? Obviously, I've had a YouTube channel for 12 years. I'm not worried about judgment from strangers. I mean, the things people have said to me in the comment section over the last 12 years, it's insane. That doesn't affect me. It never has. I wouldn't have lasted this long on YouTube if it did. I worry about judgment from people I know that used to be in my life, cut me out, never talk to me, never call me, never answer my text messages, have cut me out voluntarily on purpose, have told me, and then go to my YouTube channel and watch. It's like so cowardly, but I can't control their character. But then it makes me, in the back of my mind, when I'm sharing my thoughts, being vulnerable with you guys, who I feel safe with and loved by, and assume that people that enjoy my content will come and watch, I have in the back of my mind, what if so-and-so is watching this? What are they thinking of me? What are they assuming, you know? And generally, my mind does not work like that. I have never struggled with worrying about what somebody thinks in my mind. I just never have. I don't live my life out of fear of people. I live my life confidently doing what I feel the Lord's called me to do, and exhorting you and anyone who would like to listen to do whatever the Lord is calling you to do. Do it with your whole heart, and He's the only one that you need to worry about pleasing. And having a clear conscience before, and having a pure heart before, you will not ever be able to please everybody. Even if you were saying the most exhorting, uplifting, encouraging thing to one person, somebody over here will think you're wrong for this or that reason. Whatever. You and the Lord. And then use your giftings and your skills in the Lord for the kingdom, and He uses it in whoever He's going to use it. And so that's usually how I function and think and feel. But those of you that have been with me for a long time, you know I've been through a lot of stuff, and it has affected me in ways that I've never foreseen being affected. And one of them has been this. Some things you just realize, wow, I'm this way now, or this way now. Oh, I'm thinking this way now, or reasoning this way now. That's weird. I've never been like that. I've never thought like that. Well, here I am. Damage has been done. So that's one of the things. That's the main reason that I don't sit and chat with you guys anymore, is because of the way I've been affected from all the stuff I've been through the last few years. And it's just not the same. And no matter how much I try, some days don't feel doable, but some days do. And that's when I make a video. So here I am. I've been watching a lot of this channel. Okay, so I rewatched, for those of you that don't know this about me, I love hearing testimonies of people that have come out of cults. So for years, I have watched all the cult documentaries, videos of people that came out of Quiverful or IBLP or ATI or FLDS, you name it. I love watching all that stuff. It's so fascinating to me. And of course, even though they're all different, cults have characteristics. They're very clear sometimes and they're subtle sometimes. But either way, it's fascinating to me. And I rewatched Shiny Happy People, which I watched right when it came out last year on Prime. I just wanted to refresh my memory and watch it again. And I watched it this past week. And that led me to check out some of the people that are in the documentary, some of their interviews online with other YouTubers. And so I've got to hear their entire, hour and a half story individually online. And so the channel that seems to highlight more than one of the people that were in that documentary, the channel was called Cults to Consciousness. And so I've watched several of her videos interviewing several different guests, some from that documentary, some not, just whatever, piques my interest. It's been super interesting. I love hearing people's stories. But something that I have caught on, like, she's talking to a lot of women, so naturally they all feel like they were oppressed in their marriage, abused in their marriage, forced to stay home, forced to be a housewife. And they keep referring to being a housewife as a tradwife. And I think that they're misusing the term. I think tradwife is not just a traditional wife for real, whatever that means. I think it's a fad, this weird fad that has erupted, I guess. I've heard tidbits of it through the years. The first time I ever heard anything about it was from Matt Walsh from Daily Wire, and then I saw Ben Shapiro mention it, but I've never really looked into it myself. Then I found this other channel, Hannah something, and she has Influencer Insanity as one of her series on her channel. And so I learned way more about tradwives recently through her channel. And then this awesome lady, I don't know her name either, she just put a video out today making homemade tamales. Love her content. She's a Christian homemaker, homesteader. I don't watch many of her videos because I don't have time, but the ones that pique my interest, I'll watch them. And the first video of hers that I ever saw, she was talking about tradwives. And her sentiments on it were 100% mine. I have been a housewife for 16 years. So I know that the tradwife fad thing is totally not being a housewife. That's bizarre, over the top, exaggerated, and it's an actual business. These people are influencers. They're not just being wives, they are influencers. So they are making money presenting this very embellished picture of being a housewife, and they've labeled it tradwife. Some of the philosophies I might be like, yeah, I like that, but I don't think that I could even repeat them to you off the top of my head. I would have to sit and revisit all this stuff. But anyway, I don't like that in this woman's interviews, these women that were housewives 20 years ago are referring to themselves as having been tradwives. It is not the same thing. They were housewives, but they weren't tradwives, this weird new fad. It's different. It's just like misusing the word narcissist. Narcissism is a personality disorder that is diagnosed by a psychiatrist, but we call everybody a narcissist. It's so ridiculous to me. Stop misusing words. Gaslighting is another one. I think that gaslighting is when someone is deliberately doing that to you, not just when you feel crazy because you're having a poor communication with someone who doesn't seem to see what you see. That's not gaslighting. Just because you feel like, what? I know you said that. And the person doesn't remember, or they're so, they have brain fog when they have emotions that are heightened that they truly can't remember. That's not gaslighting. Gaslighting is when someone is on purpose trying to make you go nuts by lying to you or twisting things so that you can feel like a crazy person. So we use these words too much, and we don't even use them correctly. And I think it's a really bad accusation to tell someone that they're gaslighting you, because basically you're saying, you're doing this to me on purpose. You are an abuser. And what if they're not? I mean, I don't know. That's just crazy. Or you're a narcissist. You have a personality disorder that needs diagnosis from a psychiatrist. No. You're being proud right now, or you're really, really giving into the flesh and being very stubborn, that's what's happening. Everyone has narcissistic tendencies when they're angry, it's just overuse. And the same thing's happening with this channel in particular with the word tradwife. So that was interesting. But I do find it fascinating to hear their stories. And one of the things that I wanted to bring up that I did find, like, man, that needs clarity. It's so unfair when people, everyone's opinions and feelings are, no matter how much you want to deny this, they are shaped by your experiences. That's just the truth. You have strong, passionate opinions based on your experience more so than what people say, because that's humanity. These women have had horrible experiences being housewives or tradwives, as they want to call it, feeling like they had no other choice, feeling like they were trapped in their kitchen. And that is horrible. I mean, my heart goes out to them. My heart breaks for them that they felt like they were in an abusive, horrible marriage, oppressed and all this stuff. But even the woman sharing her story that I was watching yesterday was saying, oh yeah, they were talking about Ballerina Farm, which I know nothing about. Like, I just heard this interview, so I learned that Ballerina Farm lady is Mormon. I had no idea. I knew that they were actually super wealthy, and so the picture that they're showing you is very unrealistic because they have the most gorgeous, perfect, amazing homestead ever because they're rich. I don't know anything else. And I know that she's like a ballerina and beauty queen. That's it. The first video I ever saw of hers, I didn't even know who she was. It was this woman in her kitchen, and she was making ricotta cheese and then pasta and then marinara, and it was meat from her farm or whatever. And I was like, oh, have fun. I need a pasta machine. I want to do that soon because I already have meat from local farm. I already make ricotta. I already make marinara. And so I would love to make the pasta, the noodles. To me, it's just like, oh, cool, I want to do that soon. To other people, it's an outrage. How can she spend so much time in the kitchen? That's ridiculous. Where are her children? Well, I'm sure she doesn't make such elaborate, perfect meals every day, first of all. Second of all, she's clearly filming. This is a business. She's an influencer. She's trying to make it look amazing. The kitchen shot is literally like a corner. Nobody cooks on one table in the corner like that. She's avoiding filming the rest of the kitchen, and it's just inspiration. Don't like make her feel like she has to show you all her life or then she's fake. No, the rest of her life can be private because you can choose what you show on your channel as an influencer and say, but this part of my life is not for you to see. And some of these people have no problem. I got interrupted and I'm sitting in the classroom now to have a moment longer with you. I'm not sure where I was going with that. Some of these people have no problem showing their life. I don't know what I was gonna say. But what I do think the fundamental problem is that people watching can't help themselves in comparing, I guess, and not, even though they know in their head, this is probably not all 100% true or accurate, they actually still try to compare themselves to like Ballerina Farm or whatever. It's like she has people that work for her and help her promote her businesses, and she has products she sells, and she is an influencer. It's a career, it's a job, and a lot of these other people are too. So it's just so interesting to me that people know that in their head, but still fall into the trap of comparison. It's like, and you know, I've talked about comparison on my channel before, many, many years ago, how it's just such a waste of time because you're comparing literally apples to oranges, things that are totally different from one another. We're all so different. Our spouses are all so different. Our dynamic as a couple is all so different. Our children are also different. Our families are also different. What we want, what we value is all so different. So why compare? It's so crazy. It's illogical. It's irrational, yet we still fall into the trap. It's very, very sad. If we can all just snap out of that, you know? But One thing I did want to say about, oh yes, so the woman that was sharing, they were talking about Ballerina Farm, and then the woman that was being interviewed on this channel said, well, I used to be like that. And she started to list all the things she used to do in her kitchen for her family. And honestly, you guys, it was all the stuff that I do. She was talking about sourdough, kombucha, milling her grain, making all her breads, making yogurt and cheeses. Now, I don't make all of our cheese. I buy plenty of cheese, but I do make cheese sometimes when I want to for special occasions. Yogurt, on the other hand, I do make all of our yogurt, and I do make all of our bread, and I do mill our grain, and I've been doing it for 13 years. And this is the thing. She said that her kids grew up and they all told her all they remembered was her angry in the kitchen. Okay, well, is that because she's making everything from scratch, or is that because her attitude is wrong? I think it's because her attitude is wrong, not because she's making things from scratch. So to blame it on and to scoff at and roll your eyes and talk trash about tradwives for making everything from scratch is the wrong focus. The focus is, man, I had a crummy attitude. I should have realized earlier on and changed it. Not bash people that love being in the kitchen. You know, it's such a wrong focus. It's always about pointing at something other than yourself. Her attitude was wrong. She was the one that messed up. She's the one that was in the wrong, not cooking things from scratch. Does that make sense? So yeah, she realized it too late. She didn't have enough wisdom and discernment in that time of her life to say, you know what? I am running myself ragged here. I'm not enjoying any of this. Why am I doing this? There needs to be some changes in this house. I don't want to make bread anymore. Instead of doing that, she blames it on the women that want to make everything from scratch and the pressure to make everything from scratch. There is no pressure, you know, and if there is, there's a problem, because everything we do should be something we want to do. Like, nobody's standing over me, making me have a garden or making me make herbal medicines. These are things I delight in, that I have always wanted to do, and just in the last 3 years I've had the time to do. So now I'm implementing them. And that's what I always have tried to tell you guys. Like, you can't just do everything overnight. I haven't. I started making our bread in a bread machine. And then the next step was milling my grain. And then the next step was, actually making everything from scratch was probably the first step. And then I started making our bread, and then I started milling our grain. And then little by little, I've added things. And the things that have been sustainable have stuck. I've been making bread for 13 years. I've been making kombucha for 9 years. Those things have stuck. I have tried in the past to make our yogurt, and it didn't stick. After a while, I gave up on it. Now I'm back at it. Will it stick? I don't know. We'll see. And I don't feel pressure to make it stick. If I don't like it and I don't want to do it, it's not going to happen. You know what I've tried countless times and I hate it? It's just never going to happen. Kefir, milk kefir. I've tried it. I've done it. I lasted 2 or 3 weeks this summer. It's just not a natural fit for our family. Fine. It has way more probiotics than kombucha and than yogurt. Well, I can't seem to make it stick. So I'm not going to do it, and I don't care, you know? So there's just things like that. You have to come to that realization. Not everything that works for this person is going to work for you. Not everything that this person cares about or wants to spend their time doing in is going to be something you want to do. Clearly, we're all different. And what I try to do, and have always tried to do, is encourage you guys by sharing ideas with you, and then you take what you like and you leave what you don't. And I love how a lot of you have shared with me that you don't make stuff from scratch, you don't bake bread, but you still like watching my channel. Good. That means you're in a healthy place, that you're not thinking you have to do everything I do. And I can watch people and they do tons of stuff that I don't want to do. I have a homestead. I have space for cows and goats and llamas. I don't want them. I can raise pigs and have them slaughtered and butchered. I don't want to do that. I can have meat chickens. I don't want to do that either. I'm happy with my egg layers, and that's pretty much it. I'm really happy with the mamas raising their babies, and that's pretty much it. But I don't know how many roosters we're going to end up with. And so once we have too many roosters that we don't know what to do with and we have to kill them or give them away, and that becomes a huge thorn in our side, maybe I'll say, I never want to do this again. I don't know. We will cross that bridge when we get there. It is so like easy to get sucked into comparing your life with other people and thinking you have to do everything everybody else does. No. Be confident in who you are, how God's made you. You do things the way that you fit for your home and your family and yourself. And the rest, everybody just, let's not judge each other so much. These people talk about how they were so judgmental when they were in the faith. They were so judgmental when they were in their cults. I believe it. Well, now they're out of their cult and they're less judgmental. No, they're judging all the people that are religious. They're judging all the Christians. They're judging all the housewives. They're judging all the people that make things from scratch. So no, they're not less judgmental. They're just aiming their judgment somewhere different now. We really do need to be more gracious and less judgmental to anyone just because they're different than us, or because we don't like what they're doing because we used to do it and we didn't like it. Well, good for you. You didn't like it, so don't do it. Don't assume that we're doing it for the same reasons, and don't assume that just because you were an angry housewife, I'm an angry housewife. I'm not. I'm living my dream. I love being a housewife. I always have, and my videos prove that, so I don't need to prove anything. But I have always exhorted you guys to just embrace this beautiful role that the Lord has given you, to consider it a high calling, to see that it is extremely important. It's not I don't know, it makes me sad when I hear women say things like, I feel like unfulfilled and I feel like I'm not doing anything for the world. I'm like, girl, have you not heard the quotes that every other occupation exists because of the housewife? You're raising the next generation. You're raising those who are able to grow up and do all the other occupations because of yours. If it wasn't for you, what would happen to the next generation? There's so much impact we have, and we make it so little, and it's a shame because I do think the voices are loud saying that being a housewife is not fulfilling and you're not using your skills for anything. I'm sorry, there's nowhere I'd rather be. Nowhere. And I wish that I can help mamas feel to the extreme passion that I feel and contentment and fulfillment that I feel being a homemaker. I love serving my family. I love making a happy home for my family to have a refuge. I love making amazing food for them, nutritious food, predominantly nutritious and of course delicious. And I love pouring my life out, myself out to serve my family. I love it. That does not mean I neglect myself. I do not neglect myself. I get dressed every day. I work out most days. I go on walks. I have my little Apple Watch counting my steps. I take like 12,000 steps a day. I'm standing 14-ish hours a day. I'm a very energetic person. I do not sit and chill. It's just not in my nature. I don't like that. I love sitting and talking, but not every day. I like to move and get things done. I like to be active, especially for the most part of the day. And then in the evening, that's when I like to rest. But I'm very fulfilled. And I think when we get up and get dressed every day, we already feel better. If we move and get exercise, we already feel better. It's good for our souls and it's good for our physical bodies. And it gives us purpose and meaning. And then of course, getting things accomplished so you can see fruit of your labor, fruit of your day well spent. Not that it has to be a huge task, but little things. And if you can't see the little things because they're so small, write a list and check off the things. And at the end of the day, when you see that they're all checked off, even if you can't see, oh, the closet's organized, you know the other things that you did do because they're checked off that list. And you can start to show yourself like, I am doing things and accomplishing things each day, depending on what season you're in. Obviously, I'm in a much easier season now. I've already invested those life-consuming, constant work all day with little kids season. I've already passed that. I'm in the teen years now, and they're pretty awesome, I gotta say. So far, so good. But, you know, I know life has challenges and who knows what awaits in the next few years. But right now, it is treasure. And I'm convinced it's because of the relationship I formed with my children over the last 16 years being home. I know them so well, and they know me so well, and it's such a privilege. They're my friends. I'm their friend. We laugh, we have fun together. It is such a joy, such a gift. How can we say that we're not using our days well if we're home? Oh, I wouldn't trade it for anything, for anything. So it's really fascinating to hear people's stories, to hear what they've walked through, to hear what they conclude after they've come out of those things, to see how they view the world after that. Like, people look at their past with disdain instead of saying, I loved this or that, but now I live this way. You know, I used to be a homesteader. Bleh. Well, it's okay that you didn't like it. That doesn't mean everyone that's a homesteader doesn't like it. They might be really happy. I used to do that chicken thing. Bleh. Well, I love having chickens. They're the easiest animal ever, and I get free amazing eggs every single day. I'm so sorry it didn't work for you, but I love it. You know, it's just so, I don't know. I don't know if it makes them feel better about themselves or if they just are hateful to their past, so they aim it in the wrong place. But there's just stuff, you know, that we need to pay attention to that stuff. Why do I feel that way? Where's that coming from? Why am I blaming other things instead of examining my own heart? How can I grow from this or be different or think different and be less, you know, ugly about it or judgmental? It's good to examine yourself. So I think that was everything I wanted to share with you guys. It wasn't really like one specific point. It was more just sharing some thoughts I've had as I've watched these interviews. They've been entertaining, to say the least.